$2,000 if I reach the goal line, but I really do like trifle or whatever it is. And you're going to be indifferent. You're going to say, no, I'm not interested. Sorry. So many things when you have when you're fixed on a higher purpose or a transcendent purpose or a purpose that goes beyond those other things, you become indifferent. Not because you've made a vow, I'm not going to, no, but because you're fixed on something else.
I understand your point.
You're okay.
Sorry, you can hear me. I understand what you mean, but when it comes to other people, just trying to find a good example here.
How not to be callous?
That's exactly it. That's exactly what I was going, what I meant to say. I mean, I wouldn't want to be indifferent to the suffering of others.
But you have to be, we don't want to be indifferent to the suffering of others. We want to be sympathetic to their suffering. We don't want to be cold and inhuman. But we need to know what their suffering actually is and what will actually benefit them. The real suffering is not that I'm in this or that material circumstance, that my boyfriend jilted me, or that I broke my arm, or that even that I'm going to die. That's not the real cause of my suffering. That's my dream. When I'm asleep and I'm having a nightmare and I'm being eaten by a tiger, the problem is not the tiger, the problem is that I'm sleeping. And the sympathy, therefore, needs to be directed with knowledge. The parents aren't thinking, oh my God, what are we going to do about this tiger? They know. The boy is having a nightmare. That's all right, that's all right. So we know that the terrible sufferings of this material world, and they can be awful, are finally just the consequence of our forgetting our spiritual nature. In the Vedic literature, it said, the Sangha Kiryam Puruša, the living being has no connection to this material world. But he's dreaming that he does. Because he's dreaming that way. Sometimes he has wonderful dreams, and sometimes he has nightmares. Our situation is compared to that of a child who sees or a man who sees his head cut off in a dream. The teacher tells the student, you don't behave. I'm going to cut off your head and hang it on the wall for you to see. But if the child thinks about, well, if I can see my head, then I'm okay. That's our situation. I'll give another example. The moon is on the water and it's shaking. But the moon is never shaking. It's only because it's reflected on the water that it seems to be shaking. The moon in the sky is perfectly stable. In this material world, we seem to be having our ups and downs, or our tragedies and our triumphs. We have nothing to do with this. Our real situation is aloof from this. But we're projecting ourselves into the tragedies and the triumphs. Self-realized person, he's not bewildered by these things.
It does occur to me that I don't think we can ever be free from the pain and the suffering, or from the joy. But would it be reasonable for me to say that they should perhaps be controlled to such a point that they don't allow us to deviate from our spiritual path?
Yes, that's right.
Would that be reasonable?
That's very reasonable. That's very reasonable. And beyond that, it's when better than being controlled is being absorbed. If you're absorbed in Krishna consciousness, you're already controlled. If we're just trying to control, the control system may break down. But if we're absorbed in something beyond what might be attracting us or repelling us, automatically control is there. Yes. If I have a little biscuit and that's all I have, and you try to take it away from me, I'm going to be, I can't have that biscuit. Or if it's sitting there and I'm starving, and there's this biscuit, and I've been told, don't take that biscuit. But if you come in with a big tray of, fruits and vegetables and sweets and this and that, biscuit can lie in the corner all day. I don't have to. So for one who's absorbed in Krishna consciousness, the attractions of it and repulsions of the material world are diminished. It's said that the senses become like serpents whose fangs have been broken. They become like serpents with broken fangs and work out less trouble. On the way, we have to control our senses because we're not at that elevated. But the real way to make that self-control possible and successful is to be absorbed in Krishna consciousness.
Thank you.
Okay, in the back again, please. Back. Yeah. Hold on a second, we're not getting you. First of all, hold it real close. And let's see if it's turned on also, that helps. Okay, it is. Go ahead. You have to speak right into it, almost, risk being unhygienic. Just speak right into the microphone.
We're told, or we learn that Lord Balaram is Lord Krishna's first expansion. But if there's no time in the spiritual world and everyone's eternal, then when does that expansion happen? Or is it something that we just won't understand?
Expansion is sort of, it's one of those English words. It's not exactly like, expanding that way. He's existing simultaneously in these multiple identities. That's what expansion means. How long? Since when? Since forever. It's not that at a certain time he decides, well, enough of this being Krishna, I'm going to be Krishna and Balaram. He's eternally Krishna and Balaram.